Eric Opoku.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to associate myself with the motion on the floor. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion on the floor of this House. And in doing so, I would like to associate myself with the message of the State of the Nation address delivered by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, yesterday. Mr. Speaker, when you read Article 67, together with Article 34, Clause 2, you have clear indication as to what the framers of the 1992 Constitution expect the State of the Nation address to contain. His Excellency, the President, dealing with the Ghanaian economy, made an emphatic statement on page 4 of the State of the Nation address. And Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, I would like to read. Mr. Speaker, my government found the resources to cushion the impact of the pandemic because we are good managers of the economy and we are good protectors of the public purse. Mr. Speaker, it is the duty of this House to critically interrogate this statement, whether indeed the President and his team are good managers of our economy, and whether or not they are good protectors of the public debt. Yes. Mr. Speaker, in all sincerity, the true state of the nation Ghana now is that Ghana is in a state of comatose, where hopelessness, wretchedness, insecurity, and despondency are the facial expressions of many Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, there is extreme polarization with accentuated poverty among Ghanaians in Ghana. In fact, in the last 4 years, the Nanado government has plundered this nation into a quandary. Mr. Speaker, in 2016, December 2016, the total debt of our nation stood at 122 billion Ghana cedis. I'm saying 122 billion cedis because that was what the President told this House in the State of the Nation address in 2017. Mr. Speaker, that is the debt of our nation from the 6th of March 1957 to December 2016. 59 years as a nation, our debt was 122 billion. In December 2020, the debt of our nation has been ballooned to 286.9 billion, according to Bank of Ghana. 286.9 billion, indicating that within the last 4 years, the MPP government has increased our debt, total debt stock by a whopping 165 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, no government in the history of Ghana has ever borrowed this quantum of money within a space of 4 years before. Mr. Speaker, even if we are to add all the borrowings of all the governments that we have had in this nation, they never borrowed up to 165 billion Ghana cedis. To whom much is given, much is expected. Mr. Speaker, the debt of our nation, as the Bank of Ghana put it, constitutes 74.4% of our GDP. Mr. Speaker, this is far above the IMF debt sustainability threshold of 70%. What it means is that if you cross the threshold, then your country will now borrow to service loans, to pay debts. So Ghana now borrows to pay interest on debt. And that is why even though this government has borrowed so much,
Don't see anything.
they cannot point to any monumental achievement from the borrowings they have made on behalf of Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, I decided to do what Honorable Osei Chemensa used to do when he was the minority leader. In order to establish the full impact of our debt on the life of the ordinary Ghanaian, he would do debt burden analysis. And I decided to do a very simple debt burden analysis. Mr. Speaker, in 2016, the debt was 122 billion. The population of Ghana was 28,308,301. So if we were to share Ghana's debt, every Ghanaian owed 4,300 Ghana cedis. Today, in 2016, 4,300. Today, if we are to share Ghana's debt for a population of 30 million, every Ghanaian will owe 9,500, almost 10,000. Mr. Speaker, what it means is that within the last 4 years, the so-called better managers of our economy have increased the individual debt by 5,200 Ghana cedis.
4 years.
Mr. Speaker, as if that is not enough, for the first time, the government of the MPP has done something which has never happened in our country. Mr. Speaker, they have collateralized, securitized, and monetized future revenues of our nation. That is the danger ahead of this nation. Future revenues have been monetized. And these are treated as contingency in our account. So we don't add them to the public debt. So now that we are talking about public debt at 286 billion, if you are to add all the institutional borrowings, Ghana will cross 350 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, they have securitized proceeds, receivables from Get Fund for a $1.5 billion facility. So in the next 10 years, even though Ghanaians will be paying taxes...
Honorable member, just hold your breath. I see the former Deputy Minister of Finance on her feet. Yes. Honorable, what is the reason why you are on your feet?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my colleague on the other side said we have securitized our future revenues. I just wanted to know the exact revenues that he's talking about. Yes, it's important. Mr. Speaker, it is important that we know. It's important.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, the standing orders are clear as to when debate could be interrupted. And I'm going to stick by that. So when you get up to interrupt debate, kindly refer the Speaker to the order under which you have the authority to interrupt the debate. Since you fail to do that, and your submission doesn't draw my attention to any area, you are completely out of order. So please, continue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, they have securitized receivables from Get Fund. Mr. Speaker, they have taken $1.5 billion US from the Chinese. So in the next 10 years, even though Ghanaians will pay their taxes through the Get Fund for the development of education in Ghana, a sizable percentage of the receivables belong to the Chinese. The Chinese in the next 10 years. Belong to the Chinese in the next 10 years. So even though their government has a term of 4 years. They have securitized future revenues in terms of government for the next 10 years. Now they have also securitized receivables from the energy sector levy. Mr. Speaker, you know that His Excellency President Mahama caused to be imposed on Ghanaians the energy sector levies to enable us pay off the debt that was hindering the energy sector to be efficient and effective in the distribution of power in this country. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, they have securitized receivables from that levy for a period of 15 years for $2.5 billion. So in the next 15 years, no matter who will be the president, Ghanaians will pay that levy, but the money will be used to service that loan. Mr. Speaker, even the cocoa trees in Ghana, they have collateralized cocoa trees for $600 million to rehabilitate cocoa.
Honorable member,
Payable within 7 years.
Once again, we are being interrupted. Yes, Honorable former Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I come under order number 92. And Mr. Speaker,
Order 92. Order 93.
93, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is content of speeches, yes?
Mr. Speaker, my colleague on the other
Order
side. 93. Mr. Speaker, yeah. It says, no member, with your permission, I read. No member shall interrupt any other member except A, by rising to a point of order. That is where any of these orders is alleged to have been infringed upon. And B, to elucidate some matter raised by the member, and that is where I'm coming from. Mr. Speaker, my colleague on the other side said, Mr. Speaker, this is just intimidation from the other side, but I just want to put it out there that we
Honorable member, complete reading what you just mentioned.
Order number 92.
92, 1B.
1B.
That's what you said. Yes, read.
So, can I go ahead?
Read the order.
Mr. Speaker, order number 92, 1B says to elucidate some matter raised by a member speaking in the course of his speech, provided that the member speaking is willing to give way. Mr. Speaker, well.
So I will have to ask the honorable member whether he's willing to give way and resume his seat. When honorable member, that is why I asked you to read the standing order. Because you are trying to explain something that he has said. And he must be willing to allow you to explain.
Yeah.
When he is not capable or he is not willing to do that, then you give that opportunity. That is why they said that. Okay?
Yes,
so I have to ask him whether he's willing to give you way to expatiate or elucidate. That is the standing order you want to stand on. So please, resume your seat.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Eric Opoku, are you willing to give way and resume your seat?
Mr. Speaker, no. We should wait for her turn.
In the circumstances, the Speaker cannot compel him to give way and resume his seat. So please continue.
Mr. Speaker, I indicated that they have also collateralized cocoa for a loan of $600 million. And as we speak, Cocoa Boss indebtedness is over $1 billion. Mr. Speaker, you recall that in the last parliament, just last year, this House approved the syndicated loan facility to enable Cocoa Board purchase cocoa in Ghana. An amount of $1.3 billion was approved dollars for Cocoa Board. Perhaps even as we speak today, the farmers have produced the cocoa, they have sold the cocoa to Cocoa Board through the LBCs, but they are unable to pay them. Oh, this is the true state of our nation, the sad story of the Ghanaian cocoa farmer. And this is a huge disincentive to cocoa production in this country. Mr. Speaker, we can also not forget the collateralization of bauxite in the Tiwa Forest area for the for the Sino hydro deal. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, the IMF has cautioned Ghana to be very, very careful with that deal, because looking at what is happening, Ghana is likely to default. And if we default, the Chinese will take over the bauxite. The deposit of unmined bauxite in the Tiwa Forest area. That is the danger now. And nobody can controvert this. So this is the true state of our nation. We are spending our revenues, we are taking loans on behalf of Ghanaians, and we are also collateralizing future revenues. So where lies the hope of our nation? What are you people leaving behind for the upcoming generation? You are creating a huge liability as inheritance for the young people coming up. And you say that you are better managers of the economy. No. Mr. Speaker, the IMF cautioned them. I have the document here. The International Monetary Fund cautioned the MPP government against debt collateralization, against excessive debt collateralization and monetization of future revenue. But the government did not heed the warning. That is where we are now. Everything belonging to us, including taxes that Ghanaians have not paid, we have collateralized everything. And now, the president hints of bringing back a Japa to enable you collateralize royalties from gold again. So where are we? Mr. Speaker, this is the true state of the nation. And it is important for us to let every Ghanaian understand that this is where we are going as a nation. And this is where we are. That is what we expect from our president. And that is what the state of the nation must address. Mr. Speaker, now let me move to another important aspect of our economy, agriculture. Mr. Speaker, the office of the president and the oath that the president takes before assuming office imposes a strict, immutable obligation on the president to be candid to Ghanaians. Nothing more, nothing less. The president of the Republic of Ghana must not be seen to be economical with the reality when addressing Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, I do not want to say that the president is lying, but I'm saying that the president should be candid. Mr. Speaker, reading the State of the Nation address, page 9, this is what the President of the Republic said. We have for the first time in a long while become a net exporter of food, as opposed to the days of importation of tomatoes and plantain. Mr. Speaker, since time immemorial, Ghana has been producing plantain in excess of our demand during the peak season. During the peak season, the problem we have in Ghana is that we do not have storage facilities. And so when we produce them in abundance, in excess of our demand in the peak season, we are unable to store them to cross to the lean season. So in the lean season, we have problems with lack of plantain. And to say that we have been importing plantain, from where? From where? What's the proof? Mr. Speaker, and then the president is saying that we are no longer importing tomatoes. That is factually inaccurate. And I want to demonstrate to this House that the president was economical with the reality. Mr. Speaker, just recently, the Tomato Importers and Traders Association sent a petition to the IGP And the IGP of Ghana responded. It's here. Tomato Importers and Traders Association of Ghana petitioned the IGP for security while using the Kumasi-Bolga-Burkina Faso road. They import tomato from Burkina Faso. Mr. Speaker, this was published by Business News on Friday, 12 February 2021. And Mr. Speaker, the IGP responded. The IGP orders police protection for tomato traders on Kumasi-Bolga, Burkina Faso road. Is Burkina part of Ghana? Is Burkina part of Ghana? Is Burkina part of Ghana? Mr. Speaker, I decided to go further. Mr. Speaker, to find out where that Ghana import tomatoes, fresh or chilled from. And Mr. Speaker, Ghana imports tomatoes from Burkina Faso. In 2019, Ghana imported tomato at a cost of $758,000 just from Burkina Faso alone. We also import tomato from Netherlands, from Italy, from Morocco, Luxembourg, United Kingdom, USA, Egypt, Canada, and even Lebanon. Tomato fresh or chilled. That is the state of Ghana. Everybody knows this. They know. It's all over. So how then can the president say that we are no longer importing tomatoes? Mr. Speaker, identify the challenge of your nation. Understanding the challenge is enough to enable you prefer solutions to address the challenge. Now here we are. The president himself is not seized with the facts. So how can he prefer solutions to address the challenge that confronts us? Again, the president indicates that in spite of COVID...
Honorable member, be concluding. Be concluding.
17 minutes.
I'm taking note of the interruption. I said, I haven't stopped him. I said he should be concluding.
Mr. Speaker,
you have 25 minutes. So I'm very, very observant.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, the president also indicated that in spite of COVID, Ghana did not run out of food. And that we produce locally and consume what we produce. We even exported, according to what the president said. Mr. Speaker, that is also inaccurate. Because in 2020, at some point in time, the Poultry Farmers Association had difficulty getting maize. And the Minister for Agriculture had to issue permits to enable them import maize into this country to support local production. Mr. Speaker, how can the government issue permits for people to import maize? And the same government will come and tell you that I have not imported maize. Mr. Speaker, I have the records from 1960 to 2020 importation of maize into Ghana. Index Mundi, everything is available because this is international trade. It passes through international platforms. So if Ghana is not willing to provide it, other nations will provide it. It's everywhere. And Mr. Speaker, it is important to note that in 2017, Ghana imported 19,000 metric tons of maize into Ghana. In 2018, we did 28,000 metric tons of maize. In 2019, 20,000 metric tons of maize. In 2020, 20,000 metric tons of maize to supplement local production. Mr. Speaker, it is important to state for the records that in 2019, Ghana did not import a single grain. 2009. In 2009, Ghana did not import a single grain of maize into Ghana. This is on record, and nobody can dispute it. Something that we have not achieved. Why do you people claim we have achieved that? Mr. Speaker, then the president talks about cocoa. He talks about cocoa pricing, that they have secured living income differentials of $400 per ton of cocoa, and that has increased producer price of cocoa. Mr. Speaker, yesterday I read about that one too. And it came out strongly that in 2020, the world market price of cocoa, the FOB price, was 2,666. This was reported by Bank of Ghana. 2,666. So when you add the 400 living income differential, it was above $3,000. So when you take the 660 Ghana cedis per bag, you multiply it by the ton, you see that cocoa farmers were given just 61% of the FOB price. Just 61%. Yet they were touting almost 80% everywhere, as if they have done something. Mr. Speaker, the budget will give us another opportunity to interrogate those issues further. But it is important to indicate that cocoa sector is the lifeblood of the Ghanaian economy. So if that sector is verging on collapse, then obviously Ghana's economy is sick, and there's nothing we can do about it. It is important for us to look at that sector, do the necessary injections, revive the sector. Production has been declining since you assumed office. Yes, I can give you all the figures. Honorable Afanyo, if you don't know, cocoa production has been declining since 2017. The fishery sector is verging on collapse. Everything is down. What then have you achieved in spite of all this huge amount of borrowings? Mr. Speaker, now my last point, which is very, very important. Very, very important. Mr. President indicated that in the last 4 years, they have recruited 100,000 health professionals. Mr. Speaker, this is on page 7. Page 7 of the State of the Nation address. 100,000 health professionals. Just 2 weeks ago, the current Minister for Health appeared before the vetting committee. And while under oath, he indicated that in the last 4 years, they had created 90,000 jobs. We subjected him to strict proof. Mr. Speaker, he promised to bring a template to the committee. But we are not interested in templates. This is a house of records, and we are seized with the records. Mr. Speaker, if you recruit, because those people you are recruiting will be paid, your budget will make provision for them to be paid. In 2020, we have the budget here, and the ceiling is 128,016 health workers, the whole Ghana. At the end of 2020, we should have 128,016 health workers in Ghana. In 2017, when you took office, we had 103,000. 103, page 177 of the 2017 budget. Mr. Speaker, we had 103,699. So when you do the subtraction over the 4-year period, you have added 24,317 health workers. These are the figures in their own budget. Yet the minister appeared before the committee to indicate that they have created 90,000. And the president courageously emphasized and touted as a monumental achievement that they have recruited 100,000 health professionals within the last 4 years. Mr. Speaker, how can you defend this? This is palpably false. And we expected His Excellency to be candid to the good people of Ghana, to be honest and indicate to us exactly what is happening in our nation. Mr. Speaker, the President also stated as one of the achievements that they have bought helicopters for the Ghana Police Service. Helicopters for the Ghana Police Service. Mr. Speaker, this was stated.
Honorable Member, once again, hold your breath. I'm taking note of the interruptions. Yes, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this time I come under Order 91A. The Honorable colleague here is
Order 91A. I want to follow you. So
Yes,
you say
order
order.
91. Debate may be interrupted, A, by a point of order being raised. 91A, you know it, you should know it. Mr. Speaker, I think, Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
I will plead with you that this house is a house of records. I think you should allow me to put it out there that what the minister said was that it's over a period of 4 years. And I can let you know that Ministry of Finance grants the financial clearance.
Honorable member, when you refer to order 91A, debates may be interrupted, A, by a point of order being raised. It means that the member making the submissions has breached an order. So now you move to that order that the member has breached and tell us. That is how the debate should be conducted. So move to that order, and then from there you link it to the debate. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I come under 30D.
Now, the order that has been breached is 30B.
Yes.
Yes, go on, read it.
Mr. Speaker, it says, presenting to Parliament frivolous, false, scandalous, groundless, or fabricated documents or such allegations in a petition. Mr. Speaker,
Honourable member, you said 30B. D for doctor. Is it B or D?
and E is that
Is it B for boy or D for doctor?
D.
D.
Any act or conduct calculated or intended to deceive Parliament or any of its committees. Or F. Deliberate misleading of Parliament or any of its committees, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member, the standing order you are referring to is under contempt of Parliament or breach of privilege.
Mr. Speaker.
Now,
Please sit down.
when you make your submission, then I can give the consequential orders. I'm just drawing your attention
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
to the import
Yes, Mr.
of the order,
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
that it goes beyond just breach of ordinary order. This one deals with contempt or breach of privilege.
Yes.
So when you refer to it and you are able to substantiate it,
Yes.
it is a matter I have to refer to a committee. That is the essence.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, so
And would you permit me
you
to,
can continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my colleague on the other side is saying that the current health minister misled the House. And Mr. Speaker, I can say on authority that government, through Ministry of Finance, granted financial clearance of more than 83,000. So the minister is not lying. We indeed more than 83,000, and we indeed made sure that all the financial clearance was utilized, Mr. Speaker. So we have evidence. My colleague on the other side is misleading the House. Again, my colleague said that we had securitized a debt fund to the Chinese for 10 years. We were in this House, and we brought this to this House. We never did anything like that. It's rather with the local banks that we have securitized the flows of debt fund. So I just want to put it out here that it is never with the Chinese, but it's rather with the local banks, helping to strengthen the local banks and let the local banks also grow so that we can improve on the economy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, please take your time, read the standing orders carefully. Try to appreciate them and apply them accordingly. What she did is just to disagree with the perspective in which you are coming from. And so you have to take that on board, but she will have the opportunity to put across her perspective and her interpretation of those figures or submissions that were made here and other approved or disapproved by the House. She will also be looking at the budget figures that you are referring to, the data, and then she will also make her submission. It's not a matter that I can refer to the Privileges Committee, but it's something that should guide you in your submissions. So, Honourable Member, you may continue.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. My honourable colleague has even compounded the confusion. The Minister for Health gave us 90,000. The Deputy Finance Minister is now talking about 83,000. And the President is talking about 100,000. So which is which? And we are saying that when you recruit, they must be paid. That is why they need clearance from you. And that is why you provide in your budget to be able to pay them plus the numbers. But the figures here does not support the argument you are advancing. And that is a fact. Mr. Speaker, I was talking about the purchase of helicopters. The President did mention, as one of the achievements, that they have purchased 3 helicopters for the Ghana Police Service. 3. And same is stated in the 2020 budget. Paragraph 202. We have purchased 567 vehicles, 3 helicopters for the police. Mr. Speaker, where are the helicopters? Who among them can help us to trace the whereabouts of these helicopters? Where are they? Where are they? Now they are telling me to open our eyes. Look at the government people, those in government. They can show us the whereabouts of these helicopters. Yet you keep on touting everywhere. You have purchased 3 helicopters. 3 helicopters. Where are they?
No response. No response.
Even the majority leader, he doesn't know. He doesn't know the whereabouts of these helicopters. That is a fact. I know him. He doesn't know. Honorable Opoku is quiet. He doesn't know. If he knew, he would have been on his
Yes, Majority Leader.
The Speaker.
Honourable members, this is not a musical theatre. Please. Please. What happened yesterday, I don't want to talk about it. Don't turn Parliament into a playground. I'm not going to tolerate that at all. Please, Majority Leader. Majority Leader.
The Speaker, you have stopped the time from running against my colleague. We gave him 25 minutes. He's spoken for 26 minutes, 24 seconds.
Honorable Majority Leader, I am in control.
Mr. Speaker,
I have taken away the interruptions. I gave the member who moved the motion 25 minutes. He spoke for less than 25 minutes. Nobody interrupted him. And so I'm taking note of what is happening. And when you give somebody 25 minutes and the interruptions take 5 minutes, definitely you have to make 45 minutes. So I'm taking note of it because the IT department has done a good job. And you can follow it right up from the start, the second up to the end. You can follow it. So, Majority Leader, I am in control. Don't worry about that. You go on.
Mr. Speaker, the point I'm making is, as I'm speaking now, interrupting, you have stopped the time. So it's 26:24. Anytime there's any interruption, you stop it. And we look at it. I was just saying that he's inviting me into this, and I'm refusing to go on that bait. Mr. Speaker, I'm refusing that temptation. Only to remind you that because he has spoken for more than the time allotted him, deliberately he wants to invite people so that he have the opportunity to prolong his own time. And Mr. Speaker, the truth is that any time anybody has interrupted, you have stopped the running of the time. You have spoken already for 26 minutes, 24 seconds. That's the point I'm drawing your attention to. And I know you are in control.
Majority
but
Leader,
be in control properly.
Majority Leader, I am in control. I know that. Yes. So I was expecting you not to be tempted to rise because he had finished his 25 minutes. And then you stood up. So I definitely stopped it. And so I'm aware now it's 26 minutes, 24 seconds, which is more than the 25 minutes. So, Honorable Member, in conclusion.
Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I thank the Honorable Majority Leader for refusing to respond to my invitation to indicate to us the whereabouts of the 3 helicopters. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, this government has brought untold hardships to the good people of Ghana, especially in the district assemblies. Mr. Speaker, for the first time, the NPP government pretended that they don't understand total revenue.
You can't conclude that way with the introduction of new matter. Conclusion, you don't add new matters. So please, your last sentence.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much for the opportunity. And in short, I wanted to draw the attention of the House to the fact, and the Ghanaians to the fact that Ghana's Get Fund has been collateralized, cocoa trees collateralized, Ghana Infrastructure Fund collateralized, Ghana's bauxite collateralized, and Ghana's energy sector levies collateralized, and now they want to do same to royalties. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.